What I want to do is start at the beginning, which is, you have been through quite the year at Palisades High School. I don't think there's anybody in America that doesn't know what happened in the Pacific Palisades with the wildfires and what happened there a year ago. And what that meant for your football program was you lost your home. You lost your equipment. You lost a lot of things, but you had an undefeated season, made it to the playoffs, which is incredible. So, is there any way for you to put into words what I just described and explain to the people around the country what the Palisades football program's gone through over the last year?
It's very tough to put in words. In the very beginning, I didn't think we were going to have a football team at all. We thought we lost our school, so we were literally scrambling around to try to just, you know, see who was coming back in the beginning. We had a lot of kids transfer and then come back. Kids talk about transferring, but at the end of the day, they all wanted to stay for their community and for the school, and they felt like football was going to mean something to us, and they just want to be a part of it. So to put in words, this the last 12 months, it's very hard to do.
Yeah, I cannot even imagine, and our prayers still go out to everybody out there and what you're going through. They always talk about football being more than wins and losses, X's and O's, crossing and blocking and tackling and all that sort of stuff. What did you learn about the game and about your kids through all of this?
Just how resilient they are in this community, how resilient everybody is. Like you said, we didn't have any equipment. We didn't have a sled. We didn't use any, put step over bags, nothing. We had four handbags and cones all year. But
Wow.
the one thing we did have was each other. And they really fed off of that. And, no matter what we went through, it didn't matter on the field, in practice, we had kids that lost their home. The last thing they cared about was jumping off sides, and I had to, in the back of my mind, I had to think about that as well. That this is a family, this is a community that's together, and we've all played football. We all have a brotherhood within football, but it really meant more this year to this team.
Yeah. You lost your home field. Uh, Practices were not fun. Can you describe exactly what you went through to, I mean, no bads is the only word that comes to my mind, and it's probably not the appropriate one, but you guys were kind of nomads all last year. What was that like? How did that go down?
Yeah, I mean, it was frustrating at times. We could have a field on a Monday and lose it the next day and have to scramble to try to find a field. We held practices at the beach. Each day we had to take the bus about 30 minutes to practice. Like I said, at times it was frustrating. Um, but, we fought through it and we had to. We had no choice. And,
Yeah.
for the kids to have to go through that and never complain one time is something I've never seen before. And we fought through it. We finally got through a routine. We had a home field for like a home practice field for a month, which is like a breath of fresh air for us. And then we'd have to move for another month. But it's better than having to move week to week. But like I said, it was just different moving parts, and just the resilience of this team was unbelievable.
Yeah, and you had a great season in 2024. A lot of high expectations coming into last year. Then you finally get through all this, through the moving and figuring out, what kind of equipment, and then you get to the season, and then the winds start coming.
Right. Yes.
What was that like? I mean, that had to be, man, talk about, yeah, out of the ashes, right? To have that
Yeah.
happen. What was it like?
Right. I tell people it's hard to win one game, and I didn't have any expectations coming to the season. I didn't, I knew we'd have a good team. I knew we'd have a good season, but with everything we were going through, I didn't expect to win five, six games, let alone go undefeated. So each game we won, it was like, wow, we got something special. So, um, we just, winning one game was like winning a championship each week just because of everything we went through. So, like I said, I give the kids all the credit in the world for how they fought through this season, and um, you know, one win was great, but 10, just really unbelievable.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that. Congratulations, obviously, on the award. Before we get into the award itself and some things about that, I noticed in your bio that the NFL sent me talks about not the first time you've had to overcome some big things. Before I rolled the tape here, I mentioned to you that I myself had a bad illness, something that good Lord kicked me upside the head with a stroke in 2014, saying, come on. Let's keep going here. You can't keep doing things this way. But you had a severe heart attack, I guess, what, 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago now. Talk a little bit about that and how that changed your life and impacted your coach way of coaching and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely made me not take things for granted, especially life. I told the kids first game of the season, I had a heart attack. I got a second chance at life. Our program was dead in January last year, and we got a second chance at life. So I think they really fed off of that as well. But just my approach to every day is like I have to give it 100% because tomorrow's not guaranteed, and I try to instill that into the kids. Like you guys are young and you have the rest of your life, but you never know what could happen. It could be a freak injury. It could be just you decide not to play football, whatever it is. Make sure your last day or the day before you give it your all because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Yeah. Now let's dive into the award here. Obviously, your name's on it. You're doing this interview. You get all the accolades, but it couldn't be done without your staff. Obviously, the kids as well. But talk a little bit about your staff and what they went through and how you guys kind of bonded together through the coaching profession to help these kids achieve what they achieved last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go through their names quickly because they deserve a lot of the praise.
Absolutely.
We have Sir, who's our O-line coach. Excuse me. Shael Flowers, our linebacker coach. DT Dante Dezern, who's our DB coach. Julian Love, who's our defensive coordinator. We only had 6 coaches on the varsity staff. And then Brandon Forrest, I'm sorry, our running back coach, and our JV coaches. But again, they went through the same things. Julian had a little baby who, was about a year old, who was away, along a lot of the times, and having to drive to practice, and they went through the same. Um, Switching of fields, just like the kids did and I did, and you know, they deserve. I wish I could bring them with me to this trip, but they deserve a hell of a lot of credit because they stay up at night. I get texts at 3 in the morning. They're going over packages, and so they're doing a lot of the work that a lot of the people don't see. And yeah, my name's on it, but they should be on it as well.
Yeah, it's a partnership award. There's no doubt about that. And we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL now and the teams reaching down in all the communities across the country and their specific marketplaces. You happen to have obviously two teams there with the Chargers and the Rams. I know they were a help through the situation with the wildfires and helping the nomads out, getting to that undefeated season. Talk a little bit about what it means to you to have the NFL teams there in your community reaching down into your program, not only your program, but all of the programs there in Southern California.
Yeah, I can't give the Chargers and Rams enough credit. People say they want to help in the beginning, and they do one or two things, and then they kind of weed off. But from day one, they said they're going to be with us every step of the way, and they've done that and beyond. And they've donated money. They've offered to have us practice at SoFi Stadium. They invited us out to practice. I mean, they've done everything imaginable for this program, and they're still continuing to do so to this day. So, when they say community, NFL community, they absolutely mean it, and it's been an honor to work beside the Chargers and the Rams this last year. And like I said, when they say community, they do it the best out of any sport I've seen.
And you got a lot ahead of you here. We're taping this before you get I don't know if you're ready for the red carpet or not, or if you're ready for that little football game that's played, I think on the 8th. But that being said, I mean, really what's going through your mind as you prepare for this? Even though this won't air until after that happens, but I'd love to get a little of your enthusiasm for that.
Yeah, I joke because when I go on vacation, I wait till the last minute to pack. I've been packing for 2 weeks for this, so I'm super excited about it. It's been hard to keep it a secret from everybody because I know the NFL hasn't released it yet. But just super excited and totally honored to be a part of this, and can't wait to. I've been to San Francisco, but not in this aspect. So I'm super excited to see downtown San Francisco and how the NFL, does their week up to Super Bowl. So. I feel like a kid on Christmas Eve right now.
I wish nothing but complete joy for you during that trip. Now we get to the final two or three questions here. The obvious one, that's what I said at the beginning. Get ready for all your coach speak, all your thank yous and all that. What does it mean to you to win this award?
It means the world to me. When I first started coaching, I never thought I would actually be a coach, and just I've been coaching for the last 20 years, and each year I've learned something different and different ways, and learn from different coaches. But when I got the nominee, I just kind of went back. I watched Don Shula coach in the '80s. I'm old enough to remember him, but just kind of going back and reading up on him and how he approached the game, how he honored the game, how he coached with integrity. Just he did everything the right way, and there's a reason why he's the winningest coach in NFL history because of how he approached football, and not just on the field, just off the field. And you never heard a negative thing about him, and that's how I want to approach the way I coach and going forward. And I always wanted to coach with integrity before, but now my name being on this award, I really want to do it the right way for him and his legacy and his family's legacy. So, my thing is to bring a first championship to Palisades, um, to the school, and if I can do it right behind this award, it would be. I mean, just it would mean the world to me.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool goal there. And then the last one, I do this with all of the people that I interview, and I've been doing this now for the last 6 years, and it's such a fun time of year to not only talk to the Shula Award winners, but the guys that were nominated as the Coach of the Year in the respective communities. I think this is a fun question that I asked, so you can have fun with it. Okay, so we got Coach Smith and Coach Shula. Same sentence. In your wildest dream, what do you do with that when you know your names are in the same sentence?
I, I I've never been on the NFL level coaching, so I'm not going to put my name with his. Um, but just like I said, my name on that award is just it's a major honor, and I'm not going to compare myself to a coach who's won 300 plus wins in the NFL. But it is cool to have my name, after his. Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I said. I started doing that several years ago. I'm like, guys are like, I never thought. Yeah, that's wild. It's the same. And then finally, I look ahead a little bit. You've already said, the goal is to bring that first, state championship there to Palisades High School. But this question means nothing. I'm not being disrespectful to what you guys have gone through, but I'm assuming 2026 should be a little bit easier for you.
Yeah.
What have you already thought about that? How it can be different? Are you going to have a field coming up? Are you going to have a regular practice field? What's 2026 look like for you guys?
Yeah, I told you, we just started our sixth period program. We just left our old school and we're finally back on campus this week.
Okay.
And we have our sixth period off-season program finally. And I told them there's no excuses now. We have our field back. We're going to get our weights back finally. We're going to get our equipment back. So, it was great last year, but now we have everything we need. We're going to, finally have some normalcy back to our program. So there's really no excuses now. We just have to go play football. We have everything we need. And it's going to feel a lot better being able to, walk out of my office onto the field and not have to have my car as an office anymore in the storage room. So it already feels better being on campus.
Coach.
So
Oh man, you have done such a great job. I really appreciate the time that you've taken with us. I can definitely see why you are deserving of the Don Shula Award. Continued success there at the school. Our prayers with you as the community continues to heal and recover. And hey, 2026, that'd be a perfect time, right? You go through what you went through, you win the award, and then a
absolutely.
state championship in 2026. No pressure.
No, no, no. That's what we coach.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you so much for having me. I really appreciate you. Thank you.